To South Korea now, where prosecutors are investigating President Yoon Suk Yeol and his former defense minister for their role in briefly imposing martial law. The president is also being accused of insurrection by opposition parties, an offence carrying a penalty of life imprisonment and even death. He is facing an impeachment vote this weekend. So far, President Yoon has refused to step down. Lawmakers managed to force the end of military rule just hours after soldiers surrounded parliament. South Korea's Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun resigned after he admitted giving the order. Let's get more on this from journalist Fabian Kretschmer standing by in Seoul for us. Fabian, what consequences does this investigation have for President Yoon?
Yeah, so there are basically two aspects to it. If you're charged with high treason, I mean, that could potentially carry even a death sentence. And I'm sure that what Yoon Suk Yeol is worried about is at least a long prison sentence, because that has been for long the modus operandi. We have a very polarized society here, and whenever there has been a power shift, many former presidents, I mean, once they have been impeached, etc., have landed in prison. I mean, usually there were corruption charges or others, but it has been quite often the case, and it has been also a concerning development that a power transition has been notoriously difficult here. But it's not only the investigation by the police that he's facing, but also an impeachment request that the opposition brought into the National Assembly Saturday. There will be the vote, and so far at least his own party has promised to vote against this impeachment request. But if only eight parliamentarians of his own party will actually follow with the impeachment request, then that could pass and could be successful. And then what we will be seeing will be several months of investigations by the prosecutor, and then a possible impeachment.
And now also the defense minister has resigned. What does he have to do with the situation?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, the weather conditions right now are quite worse here. So the defense minister was one of the heaviest supporters of the martial law, of the decision by President Yoon Suk Yeol to impose martial law. And what now the government is trying to do, I think they also try to find a scapegoat. They put the blame onto the former defense minister, I must say, because Yoon Suk Yeol this morning actually already named a new defense minister. But the former defense minister, yes, was one of the heaviest supporters. He apologized for having caused turmoil and has apologized for this decision. He has then offered his resignation. And he's basically presented as a scapegoat, because in the end it's the president who has to take responsibility for his decision to impose martial law.
Now, does President Yoon still have any support left in the country?
Don't get a wrong impression. I mean, the society is heavily polarized, and especially among the older generations, Yoon Suk Yeol has support. And I would say, if you look at the surveys, then most South Koreans actually support an impeachment against Yoon Suk Yeol. I've read numbers that 7 out of 10 South Koreans actually want him out of office, but that still means 3 out of 10 still want him to remain their president. So I would say his support is decreasing, but he still has support. And just a couple of 100 meters away from me, there are also big demonstrations to support him.
The journalist Fabian Kretschmer there reporting from Seoul. Thank you very much, Fabian.